Hello, Africa, and welcome once again to AgroLink on AAU TV, where we are continuing with our discussions on promoting sustainable agriculture from the perspective of higher education institutions on the continent. And I have with me a representative of the Animal Science Department who is going to take us to some of the initiatives that the department is currently rolling out in line with the theme. My name is Nana Ismail Basam. Do stay tuned. Hello, Africa. You're welcome to AgroLink on AAU TV. AgroLink is a program that aims at showcasing and highlighting agricultural activities on the continent. You're welcome back from the break. As I said earlier, we are still on our discussions on promoting sustainable agriculture with the University of Cape Coast, specifically the Animal Science Department. Okay, Doc, you're welcome once again.
Thank you.
So, as a continuation to our discussion, now I want us to take us through the initiatives that your department is currently rolling out in line with the theme.
Good. So, yes, once again, I'm Dr. Samuel Ayeh Ofori with the Department of Animal Science. I'm a lecturer and also the coordinator for our technology village enterprises that we are running as initiatives for sustainable agriculture. For now, we have micro livestock enterprises, and we have macro livestock enterprises. Yes, so for the micro, we are looking at non-conventional livestock such as rabbit, grass cutter, and then also some other, snail production. So for the rabbit, we are trying to develop rabbit breeds that are resistant to diseases and are also fast growing and can be able to give you a larger litter size, or will be able to give you more offspring at a time. Yes, so that is one thing that we are doing now. As you are aware, you need just a small space to be able to raise rabbits. You can do that in your backyard, and because of the way their production is, you can keep them in urban centers.
You don't make noise.
Yes, you really, they are very comfortable animals, or animals that are comfortable to live with. And most people now are doing that. We do that for one, research purposes, and also for some small income generation to sustain the unit. For the research purposes, yes, we have, we supply to the School of Pharmacy. They use it for their experiment. If they have to test some drugs, they use these animals. The optometry department, where they have to test some eye drops, some eye drops and other things, they use rabbit. We also have the Faculty of Education Studies, those who are into science education, basically specializing in biology and other science-based, they use that for dissection. We also sell some to some of our schools around for practicals. Yes. Then we have people who come in and buy, and then we also undertake training in that area. How do you produce rabbits sustainably, going through the entire value chain? How to process into rabbit kebab, barbecue, a lot of, how do you even do proper smoking, proper cutting, and all those things. I mean, the rabbit value chain.
Okay.
And so that is...
Doc, one interesting thing is the fur.
Okay.
The fur of the rabbits. You realize that mostly in our part of the world, when animals are killed, the furs are just burnt.
Yes.
However, in some parts of the world, they use it for clothes, they use it for
footwear and
exactly.
other things.
Yeah, so...
Okay, so the use of the fur is very important, that you said. But then it has to do with the scale of operation. If you are talking about 1,000 to 10,000 animals, 200,000 animals, yes, then we can have a factory set up to do that. Uh-huh. So that is one thing that, well, we have not reached there yet. So for now, we don't really even do the flaying and all that. We just, those that we slaughter, we use the normal singeing method to be able to singe it and all that. So the fair, yes, is important in that aspect, but unless we have very large numbers that we can now start looking at.
Another thing, interestingly, when we came to the University of Cape Coast in 2018, we realized that you had a method of slaughtering animals that were not as barbaric as what we saw out there. We've been to a lot of places, and then they still go with the traditional way.
Yeah.
So, can you take us to does this still apply? I think then it was with a pig. Yes, you killed a pig in a way that was humane.
Humane, exactly. So that is exactly what you just said. We call that humane slaughter, or humane slaughtering processes. That is part of what you call animal welfare. Now the world has reached stages where the way you handle animals is of concern. In fact, we need to admit that there are a lot of people who don't handle animals well. And therefore, the way you handle the animals will impact on the meat quality or the meat quality characteristics.
Okay.
Yes. One of the ways to do the right thing to ensure that you will not impact negatively on the meat qualities is to do humane slaughter. At our facility here, at the meat processing unit, we have a capsid boat, or a kind of, an equipment. We have an equipment that you can use to actually stand the animals. Those equipment were actually imported. It was donated by some organizations through the former head of department. Yes, Professor Tay Moses. Yes, he actually spearheaded that, and we had the equipment donated to the department. And so we are still doing that, and we are training people to do humane slaughter. The importance of this is that, in fact, we have gotten to the point where if you want certification, they want you to go by certain procedures. And one of such procedures is to do humane slaughter.
Slaughtering.
Yes. If you have to slaughter animals, you don't have to allow other animals to see that you are going to slaughter. Some of them may get agitated and can attack you. Imagining a bull that is dominating at where it was, and you bring it to the slaughterhouse, you are looking, others have been slaughtered, they see it, and you think that they will actually retaliate or try to attack you. So that is part of it. And then the stunning, where you have to use that equipment to actually stun the animal to make it unconscious. So before it comes back to its senses, or it gains consciousness, you have already exactly. So that is a way that is actually accepted. And we encourage our butchers who want to learn some of these things to come and learn.
Exactly.
Yes, because
I've actually been telling people that the best I've seen so far was with the University of Cape Coast.
exactly, exactly. So we always, in fact, if you go to overseas, if you don't have diploma in some basic things, you can't even be a butcher. Butchering, you have to at least have diploma in meat, meat handling, processing, slaughtering, and all those things. And now, because of the advocacy by animal rights groups, they are pushing that, look, if you don't do the right thing, certain certifications you will not even get. And now, yes, it has even moved into what we call institutional research that you have to handle animals. If you are going to use animals for research, you must meet certain, you have to do certain things to get clearance that you are doing the right things and not, going to harm the animals and all those kind of things. So yes, we appreciate the opportunity to actually educate our people also on that.
So now we're still on the initiatives. The other ones that
Yes. So we are looking at catfish production on the rise. It's now one of the emerging enterprises. And over here, we have ponds, about 4 ponds, that we are able to do batch production. Yes, each pond is able to take about 500 catfish from the start to maturity. We raise them from around 100 grams all the way to market weight of about 800 to 1 kilo, 800 grams to 1 kilo. Yes, and after that we do the harvesting, and then we do the processing. We have people that we supply to hotels, individuals, and the general university community they come to the meat processing unit to patronize it. And aside using it as a teaching facility, we are also trying to develop feed. Now, one of the major challenges of the enterprise is feed cost. We are trying to find alternative feed ingredients to replace the conventional feeds that is being used now, which is very expensive and increasing the cost of production. And so we are actually doing that. And then we also have quails that we are producing. And then also looking at their hatchability and how their growth rate is with respect to certain feed ingredients that we use. We also have the meat processing unit. Currently, we are doing broiler processing. For instance, Dr. Kumi was talking about the fact that he has developed or is in the development of defeathering machine that we can use to actually remove the feathers.
In less than a minute.
Exactly. So if you go there, you see one there. Yes, you see the defeathering machine that is being used to help in actually processing of broilers or even chickens in general. Then we have machines that we are using to actually process.
Technology village.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. When you get to the MPU, the meat processing unit, you see them. The machines that we use for sausage, machines that we use for other meat products. And then we also have a more or less industrial oven for smoking of fish, meat products, and all that. We have a cold room where we store this. In fact, if you slaughter an animal, it is flesh. It has to be converted to meat after chilling, usually for 24 hours. So once we do the slaughtering, we take the flesh there to be converted to meat after it has gone through what we call rigor mortis and all those things. So, and it's a facility that is now undergoing FDA certification. So once we are through with the process, we are about 60% through with the process of being certified by the Food and Drugs Authority. Once we are done with that, it means that we can send our products outside the country. Even as I speak, anytime you go there, people are queuing to buy product because of the quality that they are assured of.
We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall look at more initiatives that the department is rolling out in line with sustainable agriculture. Hello, Africa. You're welcome to AgroLink on AAU TV. AgroLink is a program that aims at showcasing and highlighting agricultural activities on the continent. You're welcome back from the break. Okay, Doc. So now can you take us through the initiative that the department is rolling out in line with sustainable climate initiatives?
Good. So for sustainable livestock production, one of the key areas we are looking at is development of climate smart livestock feed. And that is basically for the ruminants, because that sector has a lot of potential yet to be tapped. And the major constraint or the major reason for the sector still not being developed is the fact that we have not been able to develop the feed system, efficient feed system for ruminant livestock. And so now what we are doing now to be able to be climate smart, or to have climate smart feeding system, we need to look at livestock feed or certain crops or grasses that are higher yielding, or they are able to yield higher biomass. They are able to produce a lot of biomass that will be used to feed the animals. Then we are looking at those that grow very fast. Within a very short time, they mature. Then we are looking at those that are drought resistant. Without rains, they will survive. If you have prolonged rains, they will survive. And even sometimes they can withstand flooding. There are some crops, once the place is flooded, the next time you go there, it has wilted. So we are looking at crops or animal feed crops, or crops that we use as animal feed that have these characteristics. Then we are looking at those that can give what we call lower methane emissions.
Okay.
One of the problems that we have is, in fact, the climate change is actually also contributed by our livestock, because of the methane that comes through the enteric fermentation. Any ruminant that is moving around will give you methane because of the enteric fermentation that takes place in their rumen. Good. And so we are looking at plants that have lower methane emissions. And we have realized that our research has shown that bracharia grass and then also elephant grass, these two grasses have the characteristics for climate smart.
Okay.
And so currently we are developing these two species of pasture plants in at the farm, at the school farm. So we have that, and with that one, the intention is that we should be able to support our farmers, be able to have seeds for them that they will plant, and then also we have to use that to undertake research. At what stage will we? At what stage can we cut the grass that will have the max, at least the optimum yield, optimum nutrient content, and also minimal methane emissions? All these are researches that you have to do to be able to tell that the farmer should cut the grass when it is 3 months old.
Cut it in the morning.
Yes, exactly. And then after the production, how do you process post-harvest? After harvesting, how do you process it such that you can keep it to feed your animals in the lean season? So Yes, for now, we are going to look at various research options as far as the utilization, cultivation, utilization, and processing of these two grasses are concerned. So currently, we have the bracharia that is, well, I mean that one we are yet to do the harvesting, and then the other one it is now under cultivation. Yes, we want to develop it and then be able to also train farmers how they can do hay, how they can do silage, and then be able to bale it and use it to feed their livestock.
wow.
It's going to solve the Fulani problems that we have. The transhumance livestock production, where you have to be moving your animals from one place to another because of climate change. Because yes, at a particular place, within a certain time, you have enough feed, you have enough water. At different times, these things are not there. You have to now relocate the animals. But this initiative will help solve that. And again, we need funding to do that. We need funding to do community service. The research that we do, to communicate that research to industry or to end users, to our farmers, we need to have this research extension liaison, system, where you bridge the gap between academia or research and extension or community service or end users, so that we can now communicate, send it to them, train them to be able to do it. Sometimes you have to demonstrate it on their own fields. Farmers are more convinced when they see things happening on their fields.
Yes.
Yes, it will show their commitment. It will increase their commitment, their participation, ownership, and adoption. Very important. It's not everything you go and tell them to do that they will
They will
adopt.
do.
Unless they have participated and have seen the results. Okay, so this is the grass. We cut it at this stage. We dry it this way. We store it this way. Now, these are your two animals. This one, I mean, it gave birth to 3 or 2. Let's feed one of them with this, and let's leave you to feed allow it to be feeding the normal way you feed it.
And let's see the
And let's see
difference.
the results in 2 months, in 3 months, for milk yield, milk production, growth rate. Let's see the one that will reach market weight earlier. When they see these things, then you say, oh, well, that is a solution. So that is how we can make the impact. And again, we need funding. Universities in Africa are under-resourced in terms of research funds. We need funding to be able to help make the necessary impact that the universities are mandated to do.
Definitely, your department is doing a whole lot when it comes to driving sustainable agriculture and climate smart initiatives. Yes. Okay, so now let's look at you've mentioned some of the challenges, and I mean a whole lot, yes. So let's look at some of the other challenges that the department currently faces or has even faced in the past, and innovative ways you've used to combat these.
Okay, so yes, the challenges mainly are related to research funds. Yes, we don't get enough research funds. And if you don't have enough research funds, you are not likely to attract some of the knowledgeable, skillful, and passionate individuals who want to come into animal science or the livestock sector. They would rather go and do something else. Yes. But we need to train people so that we can give them the knowledge, the skill, the passion that will drive their attitude to make the livestock industry a very sustainable and profitable industry. So yes, we need funding. Then also the other issues are also sometimes you import equipment. And it happened to us that equipment were imported. We needed just clearance. Yes, universities must be given that clearance to be able to go and clear equipment that is meant for research. The equipment are meant for research, but they were donated to us by some foreign collaborators or partners. And when it got here, getting clearance to go and clear, it didn't happen. We couldn't also get the money to go and clear. Eventually, they had to return the things. Yes, because they can't find its use here. So they have to return it. So these are some of the challenges.
Wow.
We have to be given waivers when it comes to some of these things.
Especially when they are gifts. They are free.
Yes, because if, for instance, somebody is able to give you equipment that's about $10,000, and when it comes here, you want to collect duty on it, that is sometimes even more than the cost of the thing. Oh, this thing is $100,000, so, or it's $10,000, so the duty on it is $10,000 or $5,000. Where are we going to find that money? So these are some of the real issues that we have to deal with. Then government must also make it clear that, research agriculture in itself, according to CADEP, the Comprehensive African Agricultural Agricultural Productivity Program of the African Union. You see, it is expected that 10% of budgetary allocation should go into agriculture, and a good percentage of that 10% must go into teaching and research. That is it. That is the truth. It is there. In fact, I know that some years back, about 20 years ago, when during is it MPP took power from 2000, they started pushing, and there were a lot of, now we don't get support, budgetary allocation for research in our agricultural institutions, including animal science. And yet, whatever that we do, for instance, I had to truncate some aspect of my PhD research because I couldn't get the money to do it. I needed to go and do sequencing and then be able to genotype the local West African dwarf goat. Then we can be able to know what traits they have, that we can select them. We can use to select. Now that is the order of the day: genomic selection, where you just take blood sample, you'll be able to know, sequence, and know that, oh, this animal has the genes for disease resistance. So let me go and pick it or select it. Let me go and then this animal has the heat tolerance genes. Let me take it because now, because of global warming, we need animals that are heat tolerant. They can withstand the heat and still do your production for you or give you the necessary. So if you don't get the needed funding, and it must start with government. It must start with government. Most of the time they say, oh, write proposals. If you have to go and compete, those who have made it now, that was not how they started it. In US, for instance, they had to pump $100 million. The dairy industry, okay, the dairy industry that is producing milk and putting milk on our table from the US, they spent $100 million about 50 years ago. Can you imagine $100 million 50 years ago to genotype all their dairy animals? And that is why up to date they put milk on our table, because they did that, and they were able to get animals, to know the animal that have genes for milk yield, both males and females. Because if you have a bull, you cannot measure milk yield in the bull directly, yet it has a genes for milk yield. So you have to sequence it and know it, and now you have to assess it in its female offspring. This is research, and that is why we are the way we are. Yesterday, I think I have made it clear that the gold we have, or the gold of the world, is our animals and our plants. A gold that actually gives birth. It's not the mineral gold that you take and it
then
is
it's
gone.
gone.
This one, it gives birth every day. And so you harvest from that gold every day. We should improve our animals. And it has to do with research. We should improve our crops.
That's
If I
true.
talk about animals, I also talk about crops. Because animals don't live in isolation. In fact, animals are consumers whilst crops are producers. We depend on the crops. That is why, as animal scientists, we still develop crops to feed our animals. We are interested in that because if I have a good genotype, it can only be expressed when it has good environment, mainly the feed to actually thrive on. So that is that.
This is just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, so Doc, you have the platform, a call for collaborators, a call for partners, a
Yeah.
call for solutions to some of
Good.
the challenges.
All right. So thank you for the opportunity to actually call on the relevant stakeholders for partnerships and collaborations. In fact, the Sustainable Development Goals are actually 17. But the 17th one, I believe, for us in Africa and even the world, is the most important one. That is partnerships and collaborations to find solutions to sustainable development. That 17th one calls on all of us, or it encourages all of us to actually not live as islands, but to collaborate. And so our doors are open as a department of animal science. Our doors are open for collaboration with both local and international collaborators or partners, so that we can all support the teaching, the research, and extension for sustainable agricultural livelihoods whilst trying to reduce the impact of climate change.
Thank you very much, Doc, for your time. This brings us to the end of this episode of AgroLink on AAE TV, where we'll be looking at the role of the Animal Science Department of the University of Cape Coast in promoting and encouraging sustainable agricultural practices and smart climate initiatives. My name is Nana Isma Basam, and do stay tuned on AAE TV for more educative content.